Let's see what I am doing today. Right there. Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, my fellow Toastmasters, and our guests today. We are here to talk about credit. Credit is something that all adults in the United States, at least, eventually have to obtain. One thing that's really interesting is only 2% of Americans know what their credit score is. Do any of you know what your credit score is? Actual physical 3-digit number today or 4 months ago? Because they change whenever your credit bureau gets updated once a month. It fluctuates with balances changing, with your card loan going down, mortgage going down, credit cards going up, or hopefully down, and everything. Right now, mortgage lending is kind of in this whole recovery crisis mode from all the subprime mortgage lending that was happening 4 to 5 years ago. Right now, mortgage lenders are requiring higher credit scores than ever before. Auto lenders are looking for established payment histories because of high repossession rates going on nationwide. Even credit card lenders are starting to tighten their belts, requiring higher scores and more established credit to advance the line of credit. And even the federal government has stepped in and has basically made a law that credit card companies can't go after young adults who are ages 18 to 21 in college without an adult cosigner who can support that actual credit card debt that may be occurred. Yeah, go back here. So the credit score is defined by the Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction Act of 2003, which is actually an act from the U.S. Congress, that a numerical value or categorization derived from a statistical tool or modeling system used by a person who makes or arranges a loan to predict the likelihood of certain credit behavior, including default. This numerical value or the categorization derived from such analysis may also be referred to as a risk predictor or a risk score. It's a pretty big definition for what that 3-digit number comes out to be. That 3-digit number is typically between a number of 300 to 850, depending on your credit bureau that you're looking at. There are 3 bureaus out there: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. They operate in different regions of the U.S. on who's the dominant credit score and being the most accurate. TransUnion is typically an East Coast bureau. Experian is typically a West Coast bureau. Equifax actually covers the majority of the United States and is preferred credit bureau by most lenders in the United States as of right now. When you get your credit score, typically people will say, well, your A credit or your B credit or your C credit can actually be one of 5, an A, B, C, D, or an E. And typically that's just kind of grouping groups of people with similar scores into categories on how they're going to pay back a loan. An A credit is your most qualified borrowers, typically with excellent credit history going back at least 5 years. B borrowers, well, they're pretty good. Maybe had a late payment here or there, but well established nonetheless. A C borrower, they're good, but they're not bad. They're typically building their credit as a young person, typically in their early 20s, or they're an adult who are rebuilding credit, typically after a bankruptcy, or are turning themselves around after having poor credit history as a earlier time. D credit is certainly the most high-risk credit for lenders. They are presently delinquent or have a long history of delinquencies, either combined or individually. And E credit is typically your young adults under the ages of 20 who don't have any established credit, but that doesn't have an age range. It could be a 40-year-old person who's never obtained credit in the world because they are out there. They do pose a risk to the lenders because you don't know how they're going to pay over the long term of a loan. What makes up your credit score? It's only a few things. 35% of your score is your payment history. This is why it's so important to make your payments on time. 30% of your credit score is based on amount you owe. So if you have high credit card balances, it's going to bring down your score because you owe more money to creditors. 15% of your score is based on your length of credit history. For people with less history, they typically have lower scores because of that. Everything. Your credit history is only 10%. That's just your overall credit history of how you've handled your credit. And 10% is your types of credit if you have credit cards, mortgages, or car loans, or other types of secured loans such as an RV or a boat. When it comes to making your car loan payments, it really does show what your monthly payment, how much you're going to pay if you have a good score compared to a bad score. A borrower with a low score, such as 550, is going to pay $613 to have $30,000 loaned to them over 84 months. It's a lot of money. 650 score is going to be $551, savings of $62 because of that 100 points. The 750 score, which is a very good A credit score, $480, $133 a month over that 84-month time period. So it certainly does pay month by month to have a high credit score. To have a high credit score, you just want to follow a few simple tips. Pay your bills on time. It's a simple thing to do. Pay all your unpaid collections, judgments, or tax liens if you have any, because when they report as unpaid, they report as a delinquent account, which brings down your score. Keep your balances low on credit cards and unsecured lines of credit. Home equity lines of credit are considered secured lines of credit, so having them at a larger balance is actually okay because they considered secured by your home. What you don't want to do, close accounts to attempt to raise your score. This will actually bring down your score because they look at how much revolving credit you owe compared to what you actually have available. So by closing a large line of credit actually brings that percentage a lot smaller. Allow excessive inquiries on a short time period. Like when you're out shopping for cars and you have multiple car dealerships, find the car first and then apply for the loan if you haven't been pre-approved already. So when looking at credit overall, you just want to make sure that you know what is going on with your credit, have a high score. If you don't have one, use my tips to raise your score. It will happen and everything. Your credit score is dependent on your financial success as an adult. It will allow you to get a mortgage or a car loan or even just a simple credit card to go rent a car while you're on vacation. Thank you.